Hello everybody, this is Tina at Tina Stitches. Welcome to my channel. This is a channel about cross stitch and cross stitch related items. Sometimes there'll be a little bit of other types of embroidery or knitting or crocheting, but I haven't done any of that. I don't think I've even shared any knitting or crochet on my channel yet. I do some of that stuff, but I haven't for quite a while. Done some quilting and I did show a little bit of that, but even that project has been put on the side burner for now. So today is Saturday, December 28th. It is 3:30 in the afternoon and I'm losing light here, so I thought I better get this done. We are expecting company this evening and I still have to wrap a couple of presents for that person. So I better get this out of the way. I thought I would do a whip parade, but I don't think I'm going to have time to do that today. I might do that tomorrow. I just have a little bit of progress on a couple of projects and some Christmas haul and maybe some plans, which of course will include the Christmas haul. Life update. Life's been good. I can now officially say the house has been sold. It is a done deal. We have to be out the end of February. So we found a new house and it is a fixer-upper. But we got it for a song, so let's hope we can not be too frustrated with the things that are going to go wrong with the new house, and I will insert pictures at the end possibly of the new house. I never did do a tour of this house, so I may have to do that before we vacate. I know you've all been familiar with my craft room, because that's where I always film. It's the only room I can close the door and not get bugged. So, anyways, on to the stitching. It's been 2 weeks since my last video, and I have not done a lot of stitching because it's, you know, Christmas season. So there was trips to the store and going to the new house and taking measurements and having family come and stay with us. My son, he lives in town, which is like a 5-minute drive away, but he's been wanting to stay here with us for the holidays, and that's fine. So we have a room for him, so he's staying here, going to work, staying at his house, and coming back here as much as he can. So yeah, that's pretty much how the holiday's been going. Just a lot of back and forth, and you know, Christmas. We didn't really do a big dinner. We don't have we didn't have as much family in town as normal, so we just said, oh well. Anyways, you're not here to hear about my holidays. You want to see the stitching. So let's get on with it. I worked on 4 projects. And of those 4, I can only show you 3 because the 4th one was a gift, but I can insert a picture of the finished product here. And of course that is the Chubby Nutcracker by Sweetheart Tree, which I made for my friend Gabby, who is collecting nutcrackers. So I try to get her one every year. That way, this one was finished as an ornament, so it could be hung from a tree or from anything, you know, a cabinet or anything, so as to not clutter up her table where she has her nutcrackers. So that's that was my FFO, which I usually show at the end. You know, there's usually an order to these things, but whatever. What else did I work on? Well, I also worked on Crystal Christmas. And I don't have things in the right order here. So now I gotta dig for it. So, Crystal Christmas by Mirabilia. And I was just watching Dina Half Stitch Cross Stitch's latest, I believe it's the latest update. I am so far behind on Flosstube. Anyways, she just started this on a beautiful piece of blue over-dyed fabric. I can't remember the name of it. I know it was hard for her to get. I'm stitching mine on the called for 32 count white linen from Witchelt. And here's where I was before. And here's where I am now. And I have another leg and some scarf and a little bit more of the greenery in there done, or ornamental work there. So I'm almost done the body of that cherub, and that would be 4th one, and then there's a big one at the end that would have to be done. And then it will be on to beads, because this is very bead heavy. All of the open area that you see on the tree, that's all beads. Get my part thread out of the way. Yeah, that's all beads in there. So there's a lot of beads in there. Still have to do the fa la la on the bottom. It will be bead heavy. I'm pretty sure I have all the beads. If I don't, I better get shopping. But hopefully this will be finished for next Christmas. That, I mean, it's not an impossible goal. We'll see. So there's Crystal Christmas. And the next project that I worked on for only 2 days. Sorry, zipper. And that was on the 21st and 22nd of December because the seasons changed, and so I pulled out my seasonal stitching, and this is Dressmaker's Daughter by Mirabilia, and I am stitching them according to the Australian seasons. There are a few Flosstubers from Australia who are stitching the Mirabilia Queens of the seasons according to their seasons. At the time that I started this, I didn't have the queens, but I liked the idea of rotating seasonally, and so this was a good excuse to start this. And here in Canada, the official first day of winter was December 21st. So I pulled this out, and I'll show you where it was last time you saw it. And here it is now. And I worked on this part here, this part here, and I may have done a little bit of the background over here. And this is being stitched on 32 count It's by Extra Designs. I see the tag in my head, but I can never remember the name of it. It's right there. Sweet Lavender. Extra Designs. Sweet Lavender, 32 count Belfast linen. And that's how far I am now. So I will continue to work on the summer part of this design until spring. And then I'll go over to autumn. I started this quite a while back, about a year and a half. Pretty sure it started with the spring dress in 20. I have these details somewhere. It's in a book over there. Perhaps I will look that all up and share it in my White Parade. So, Dressmaker's Daughter by Mirabilia, 32 count Sweet Lavender, Belfast linen by Extra Designs. Another one that I regret not stitching on more often, because they're all so pretty. I did work on Crystal Christmas. It was not exactly a focus piece, but it was nice to have it there, pick it up and just stitch on it. So it was accessible. Which is going to get difficult in the coming days when we have to pack everything. We have to pack everything away to move it to a new house, which we're going to be remodeling. So, there may be a time in the near future where I have everything packed away. So I will only have one or 2 projects out to work on. We'll see how that goes. So that was Nutcracker, Crystal Christmas, Dressmaker's Daughter, the last project that I worked on. Of course, where did I put the paper? Did bring it out. There it is. Beloved by Del Sussler. Charted by Heaven and Earth Designs. Here's where it was last time. And here it is now. And as you can see, I've been working over here, continuing to bring it down to the midline marker. I've gotten past the dark parts of his coat and I'm getting into her hair again. Her hair and his hand. So I'm getting to less confetti heavy areas. So hopefully this will go a little bit faster. Again, I have been able to work on it more because I haven't had to put it away for showing the house. But I did have to put it away for, you know, wrapping presents. That kind of thing. So here's where it is now. And this is stitched 2/1 half cross on 25 count even weave by Zweigart because of the orange. Pretty sure that means it's Zweigart. I keep forgetting. And I honestly can say that the ear doesn't bother me as much anymore. I don't look at it all the time. I usually have my chart covering it when I'm stitching on the other parts. For example, my chart will be sitting there. Well, not quite, but that's how I work. So that is Beloved. Plans for the future. Well, I'm going to have to show you my haul. If I can find a place to put this. Hopefully they don't open the door because it's going to hit them. Okay. So, my husband said to send him a wish list. I sent him many. I sent him to many websites, many links, and then he forwarded them to my children. And basically said, I've already bought these ones. You can buy whatever. So I did get quite a few things on my wish list. And I was going to say a few things that were not, but that's not true. All these were on one wish list or another. And he did quite good. So I have to go through my wish list and delete things now because I don't need a second set. And when we were getting the mail one day, he opened up the mail and threw a parcel at me because he thought it had my name on it, but it had his name on it. And it actually had, because it's had to come through customs, it actually had on the content description thread holders. So I knew this was in that package. So he was very tempted to not even bother wrapping it, but he did. I did end up getting these wrapped up in a little box. And so yeah, that was one thing. And I did get some, in my last video I showed you I was using them already on my Q-snaps. I also got a 17 by 17 plastic snap frame right here. It is not Q-snap brand, so I haven't tried to interchange it with Q-snap pieces. I don't know if they'll fit together, but that's okay. I will make this work for something. Even if I don't use it for stitching, I can use it for quilting. So, and I sent him a link, and apparently the link was to the 17 by 17, and I said the size I prefer would be 11 by 11, but he did exactly what I linked him to, so that's fine. I'm going to leave those for last, and I'll explain why. So these next ones, and if you're not in for haul, I'm sorry, there's a little bit here. I'll try to be quick. And these are all from my wish list, either at 123 or at another website. So this is Manger Ornament by Alessandra Adelaide. I need a place to put them. There we go. Christmas in London by Mirabilia. The Baker's Wife by Mirabilia. White Christmas, also Mirabilia. This next one is a Just Nan Flora. I do have the Just Nan Angel Stocking, and so I can either interchange this design in the stocking, or I can just use this for an ornament. It's not a huge design, 82 by 37, so still nice. This one, I don't know who I saw stitching it. I think it was Jessie Marie. Maybe not. But then I had to add it to my wish list. Christmas Baskets by Drawn Thread. Sorry for the glare. This one I thought is going to be very interesting to try to make and assemble. So it's on my wish list. I guess it goes this way. Quick Repair by Amaryllis Artworks. And you're seeing all kinds of stuff in the reflections. But I thought, I'm up for a challenge. This I know is Crafty Kim. Crafty Kim made me do it. Alphabet Song. Now maybe she's not actually, I don't know if she has this one, but she got me looking up Courtney Collection because of Garden Fair, which was also on my wish list, but this one was on my wish list too. So I definitely have to think about what I'm going to stitch this on. It is fairly large, and it's only 2 colors. There's only 2 stitches of white, so obviously I'm not going to be buying silk for white. And the rest of it is like over 100,000 stitches, and I'm not going to buy silk for 100,000 plus stitches. So it's probably going to be DMC. I'm just not sure which color DMC, and I'm going to look up what is available in cones. Although, I mean, Silks for You, Hank, might be an option for something like this. See? I'm getting ideas. Now I need a hank of silk. This last one is one that when I first saw it about a year ago, I thought it wasn't available anymore, and then when he asked for a wish list, I went on to Gecko Rouge on Etsy and saw that it was available, so I picked out the size of fabric that I wanted and everything, because they only sell it as a kit. A lot of crinkling. Sorry. It's the Hatter. And this might be a new year, new start. Call me crazy. It's fairly large. Not as large as Beloved. It's 368 by 450, 105 colors, and I picked 25 count easy guide. It's all kitted up, and all I have to do is make a working copy. So that is fantastic. Yeah. So that's a very possible new year, new start. And I even have a frame that it will fit on. So, yeah. These other two are Christmas presents that arrived after Christmas, and that is another Mirabilia, Lady Hera, and I was going to say, I just need an excuse. I have an excuse. I know there are peacock cells out there. So I just need to get it kitted together. But I do need to finish something before I start this. So maybe I should finish Crystal Christmas before I start this. But there's a few other mirrors. Well, I mean, if I finish Crystal Christmas, I should start Christmas in London, right? We'll see. And then this last one was just Nan Violet Humbug. I myself had not made a humbug yet, and I saw it and thought it was cute. It's very springy, so maybe a mania start. And that was all the Christmas haul. So, quite a bit there that I could do for a new year, new start. I'm definitely, the Gecko Rouge, the only I don't want to say it's a problem with Gecko Rouge. It's not a problem. They say that that's all DMC floss. It's not that I don't believe them, but they kit it up and they renumber everything, and give you, it's all carded with the symbols and everything. So let's say triangle is number 1 and it's bright red. I think I'm going to go through my DMC as I can and put the appropriate DMC number with it. Just because. I'm like that. It doesn't seem like it's I don't know, if I run out of a color, then I know, well, let's say I run out of that triangle and it was number 1. Well, I can't just guess at which red it was, right? Then I'd have the number. I think it was closest to 666. So then I can just go to my stash and pull out 666 and start using it. So that's the main reason I want to do that, because kits, in my experience, are usually generous, but sometimes, I know my sister has had issues with Dimensions kits with being short of a few colors, and they're really good. They'll send you replacement colors. So I don't anticipate any problems, but I like to be prepared. And hopefully I won't lose any of those floss cards or anything in the move. I keep looking around thinking I gotta pack all this stuff up. So my new craft room is going to be smaller. It's also going to double as a bedroom. The reason for that is because we are going to be farther away from my mother-in-law and my son. We'll be like 20 minutes away instead of 5 minutes away. And so if they come over for events, it would be better to have a place for her to stay. So that's really the only reason why we're setting it up. Well, I mean, and other people coming to visit too. One good thing about it, it has a giant garage. Yeah. That was my biggest concern about downsizing, is where do we put all our stuff? Well, with this giant garage, we can just throw it in the garage and figure it out later. So, yeah, I think that's about all that I have to share. My plans are to possibly start that Gecko Rouge, work some more on Beloved, try to find time to do a whip parade, and I should have shown you my stockings. Is it too late to show the stockings? I think I'll go get the stockings. I will be right back. These are the stockings that I have here right now. Over the course of the 20-something years that I've been stitching, I've made over 30, maybe even over 40 stockings. I'll start with some of the oldest ones and work towards the newer ones. These older ones are ones that I made for my mother-in-law because she always had a big Christmas to do on Christmas Eve, and she always took pictures of everybody hanging the stocking. So I made her, first year I did stockings, I made one for her and her husband. And she has those. The second year I made one for each of her 4 children. And I have one of them, of course, my husband's. And every year she gets the stockings back and she buys stocking stuffers and then forwards them on to the family that their names are on them. So his brothers and sisters all get their stockings at Christmas. Then they return them to be filled again. So this is my husband's. The year after that, I made the spousal stockings. So this is mine. These are both from, I want to say, just cross stitch magazines. I believe it was one magazine from about 1998 or so. I don't think I dated these. And I just noticed now this one is starting to fray. I may have to do something about that. So yeah, stockings from a magazine. The next year I tried to get, well, over the course of a couple of years after that, I tried to get the grandchildren's stockings done for her. And this one is a dimensions kit. Checking his list. I believe that's the name of the kit. And actually I did date this one, 2005. I believe my children's were the last ones to get made. This was also 2005. And this is a Stony Creek design from one of the magazines, probably around 2005. Lots of beads in this one. This one has swags of beads, star charm, and there was supposed to be more red rondelles, or whatever you want to call them. I could only get 2 packs at that time, so it's a little bit short. I think I have the 3rd pack, but I do not know how I'm going to go about attaching those if I choose to. The next one that I made, now I have to re-sort these a little bit, was also from a magazine, and it actually was it was in 2 magazines, and it's giant. This one is Winter Wonderland Santa or something like that, from what was then known as the Stitcher's World magazine. Now they are the Stitchery? Or did it go the other way? Was it the Stitchery and then became Stitcher's World? I can't remember now. Animals are all done with Whisper, Snow. I might have added the Krynic to the Snow without it being part of the directions, because that's what I was doing at the time, with lots of Kreinik in the snow. Blending filament, pearl. But this is also all not completely stitched, but in DMC rayon, which was not the easiest thing to stitch with. It was a combination of DMC rayon, pearl cotton, whisper thread, Kreinik blending filament, and probably just regular DMC for parts like the nose. The black, I'm sure, is regular DMC. But everything else is whisper or pearl cotton, and this, I believe, is 18 count Ada. That polar bear is stitched with pearl cotton and whisper thread, and pearl cotton on 18 count was not the easiest thing to do. Rayon was not easy to work with. So that, I don't know what year I finished that. I believe it took a year to finish. And for myself, and it still has chocolates in it, I stitched Lavender and Lace, Noel, Celtic Christmas, I believe is the official title. I scanned the pattern into the computer and flipped it vertically. So normally she would be facing the opposite. She'd be facing that way. And then I just did the top the way that it's charted, but I just had to move it over that little bit because of her being flipped around, you know. Had to line it up appropriately. Full of beads and metallics. And I wanted her, the reason I did that was because I wanted it to hang with the toe facing the same direction. So that was also another reason, well, not another reason, but now that I've done this, I can stitch it as the original pattern and put it up on the wall, and it won't be identical. These last two, no, they're not last two. Sorry, let me show these ones first. So this one is a hardanger design out of a magazine. I believe it was the Needleworker. And stitched in the called for pearl cottons and metallics with Mill Hill charms. This one is starting to fray a little bit. I should take my right there. It's been doing that for a couple years. I know I showed it to somebody and we talked about taking the it's a tool that I have, which I don't use very often. I keep wanting to say star detailer, but that's not it. Anyways, that we should take it to that and run it through and see if it will grab those and pull them in. And maybe I'll be taking it apart anyways because it looks like it might be coming apart at the seam. Right now we're just using this as stocking for puppies. If we have a guest staying at Christmas, like one year I had my niece staying with us, so we used it for her stocking. This is a little stocking I made from a freebie from a lavender and lace freebie. Is the angel. I don't know which year. There was a whole catalog of freebies on the website. I haven't been to that website for a long time, but it might still be there. And I just took the same type of border for the Celtic ladies, and I charted joy in the cubes to match. And these next two are the ones that I made for my son, my two sons. And they're Heaven and Earth designs. They're both Donna Gelsinger patterns. This one is Woodland Santa. And this one is, I believe it's Santa's Nap. Both Heaven and Earth designs. And as you can see, they hang the opposite directions. If I had been thinking about it when I started, I should have done the same like I did with Noelle and flipped one of the patterns. Wasn't thinking. But one thing that I did take into consideration was the stitch count. This pattern here is stitched on 28 count even weave Lugana, I believe, 2 over 2. This is stitched 2 over 1 square on 18 count Aida, because this design was a great deal bigger than this design, but I wanted the overall stockings to be the same size. So it worked out pretty good. I mean, one is barely bigger than the other. Well, let's, you know, if we go, they're very close. Another thing I will point out is the hangers. When the boys were little, obviously the oldest one got a pair of pants. They were used for Christmas pants, and the second son got to wear the hand-me-downs, and I had thought they were for their first Christmas. They weren't. They were a size 18 months, so they were bigger. So it would be like second Christmas, but we have, you know, Christmas pictures with these pants. And yes, I saved the pants, and I used them to make the backings. Pieces were not big enough because they were just the boys, right? Size 18 months. So what I did was cut it in a way where used part of it here, used other black velvet from Stash. So it gives it a little stripy effect. They're both the same. But these pants had little suspenders buttons, And that's what those are right there. So I think they turned out pretty good. And that's all the stockings that I currently have here. Like I said, I've made 30 plus stockings over the course of the years. Mostly for mother-in-law. I've done some for exchanges. And I don't have pictures of all of them. When I went over to a friend's house earlier in the month, she had her tree up, and there was 2 little tiny stockings on her tree, and I was like, I couldn't think of anybody else that she knew that stitched. So I knew that it was probably for me, but I don't remember making them. Little tiny stockings, 2 of them, one for her and one for her daughter. And she said, yeah, of course you made those. I was like, I don't even remember. You make so many things, and if you don't document it, you might even forget you did it. So, and even seeing it, you're like, I don't remember at all. You know, sometimes you see something and it just, ooh, there it is. Oh, I remember doing that. Yeah. I vaguely remember probably stitching that when I was living in that house, but I know I didn't stitch it in this house, you know, that kind of thing. But anyways, those are my stockings. Those are my plans. That is my life update. I know right now my husband is packing some boxes. I need to pack some boxes too. Yeah. We actually do have a little bit of time because we take possession of our new house in early January. We have to be out of here at the end of February. So I'm not in panic mode yet. We'll see. Anyways, that's enough of me rambling. I hope you all had a wonderful Christmas. I would like to see some progress. Yeah, I keep meaning to go into virtual stitchers and hang out there, but I just haven't found the time. And I'm pretty sure my company is showing up soon, so I really need to go and wrap those presents. And yeah, I better go. So, happy stitching. Check in with you in a couple weeks. Bye.